Welcome back, Hollywood Horror Film Club, Slashers the series, which won't be Slashers the series no more. This is the last time I say it and use it in the intro. I don't know what happened to my Slashers account today. I couldn't get into it, and I feel like that one is done. But we're gonna be operating now from Hollywood Horror Film Club. So, hey, everyone, follow us at Hollywood Horror Film Club on Instagram. And before we start, hit the like button, the bell notification, like and subscribe, and let's get to it. Today's video is a review on Evil Dead Rise. I watched this movie about like 2 weeks ago. Dude, badass movie. It's one of the baddest, not in a bad way, but badass movie that I haven't seen in a while, dude. This is a good movie. I really like the intro, the beginning where the camera's just panning through the forest and the woods and shit. And then it's supposed to be that drone thing flying around, but we don't know that yet. And it's just panning around right there, flying through the lake, and it almost hits that girl. That was cool. I really like that. And how when the girl goes to check on the other friend upstairs in the cabin, and she finds her like she already has the sickness that makes people sick and go crazy. And I like when she rips her scalp off, and she walks down to the dock again, and the other guy sees her, and he's like all freaking out and shit. And then the other girl comes out, and she grabs the drone and slices her face with it. That was pretty crazy. Honestly, thought she was gonna slice the dude's face with it in the beginning. And then what's so dumb is though that why the hell would he go into the water for her? He already saw that she was already kind of like out of it, you know? But yeah, he jumps in the water, and she devours him up to like his neck area right here, a little bit of his torso left, and tosses the head back onto the dock, and the face is still like moving. And then what I liked was like how the zombie girl rises out of the water and says Evil Dead Rise. That shit was so fucking cool. That was really, really good right there. And then when it gets to the main characters though, the beginning, like I forgot her name, but the girl who works as the guitar tech, like it's kind of slow right there. It's kind of slow, the beginning, the whole introduction of the family, and the sisters talking to each other again after a while. It's kind of slow right there up to where they go and get pizza. That's when shit starts hitting the fan and starts getting good. So they go and get the pizza and stuff, and then there's like an earthquake or something, and everything starts going crazy and shit. And like fucking the floor breaks, like in the parking structure where the teenagers, the kids are, whatever. Like the ground opens up, and like the kid, he finds like a hole in the ground when it opened up, and in there he finds like all this old shit. I guess like the building used to be an old bank, and there was like all this stuff left in storage, and he finds a box with a bunch of old shit in, like a vinyl record player. What else? Like a book. Oh yeah, pages, and like a book with like teeth on it and shit. It's like made out of like, I guess, human skin, it says, and shit, human flesh. And it has like, it's the Book of the Dead apparently. I don't know if it's the same, the Book of the Dead from the Mummy, but it's the Book of the Dead. And like he takes it home and shit, and he fucking puts the vinyl on the record player and starts listening to it, and starts getting like, you know, info on what it is and what it does and stuff. And when he manages to open the book, he gets his finger bit first by the teeth on the book. At first it doesn't let him open it, and then once the blood falls on him, once his blood falls on the book, I guess the book deems him worthy of reading the pages and shit. And yeah, he gets to it, he starts listening to the vinyl and stuff, and then I guess he hears something really creepy, and it freaks him out, and he takes him off. But he didn't know that he was like chanting like evil spirits and like possessive demons, you know? And like they take over the mom. That shit is so crazy how it happens. Like she's in the elevator, and like fucking 1 minute she's fine, next thing you know, like I guess like something, like she feels uneasy, and like there's like this force that she can't see, and it starts like tossing her around in the elevator and stuff, like beating her up literally. And then out of nowhere, all the wires and stuff come down and like get her by the wrists and ankles, and I guess that's like I guess that's where her possession happens, like where it starts happening and shit. And like after that, she goes back to their apartment, and she just fucking throws eggs on on a pan like with shells and everything on them and starts cooking them and shit. And her sister approaches her and shit, and then fucking she's like, "Are you okay or something?" And then the little girl says something about like, "Oh, mommy, what's wrong or something?" And she's like, "Oh, mommy's with the maggots now," and like she goes crazy and starts attacking all of them. And it's pretty crazy, dude. I really like that. Another thing I liked was too how the daughter, because she becomes infected too. Like she has like a black shit dripping down her face and shit, and then she's spitting out maggots. And then her aunt, the guitar tech chick, um, goes into the kitchen and finds her like sitting on the counter, like really animalistically, like an animal or something, you know. And she's chewing a chalice, dude, a glass chalice. She's eating the glass on it. Like that shit was fucking crazy. That shit was crazy. And then when she kills her brother, also she's like all spitting blood on him all over the fucking place. Like he's getting drenched in blood. Oh, and what looked super painful was when she stabs him in here. Oh, dude, like when she stabs him through there, I was like, oh, dude, that's gotta fucking hurt. That's gotta hurt. And he manages to get out, and she, oh yeah, she also hugs him because she has that pole going through her. She hugs him, and I guess that stabs him too. That's crazy. Um, the aunt, the guitar tech aunt, and the what is it, the the brother with the blue shirt, and the little sister, they managed to kill the other sister, the one that went crazy too. Like the little sister, she's running towards her about to eat her, and she opens her mouth, and the little girl turns around, and she has that broken stick with the head, the doll's head attached to it on the bottom, and she stabs through it, eats through it, and stabs through the back of her head. And I'm guessing it killed her in the moment, you know, because it stabbed the brain. But later on, she's alive again. Another part that's cool too is when the mom is at the front door and she's trying to get the little girl to open the door, and she gets her to open the door. Then she starts like trying to slam her and grab her and kill her and shit. And another good one too is when someone else looks through the peephole and you just see the mom like chasing everyone and killing them and shit. What the fuck? Shit was crazy. The old man comes out with a fucking shotgun, and he shoots her once, but I guess she like crawls on the floor and pulls him on the floor, and like he shoots up and she kills him too. When before the little girl opens the door, she's all singing super weird, like and creepy and shit. And then what else happens? Yeah, so pretty much everyone in their floor is like infected. You know, one of the guys gets his eyeballs like fucking ripped out, and then she eats it, I think, and spits it out, and it like goes into another guy's mouth, and he chokes on it too. Um, so pretty much, yeah, the brother dies too. Um, the only survivors are the aunt and the little girl now at this point. So you know they go towards the elevator, and then all the other dead zombie like people are like trying to stop them, and then the mom's like, everyone dies before dawn, and they go into the elevator, and then it starts filling up with blood. That shit was cool. It reminded me of like The Shining or some shit, and it starts filling up with blood until the doors open and they spill out. You know, the girl and the little girl, and she thinks she's dead for a second, you know, because she's like knocked out. But and then she wakes up and she's like, "Am I dead yet?" And like, nah. And then they go, and the ending is super cool because, dude, the mom, the brother, and I'm guessing everyone else that they killed, they all like become this giant like blob mutation thing, and it just looks fucking gross. I'm surprised that thing is even fast at all because it moves really quick of how big it is. But yeah, they turn into this giant mutant thing with like fucking everyone's heads attached to it and arms and shit. And fucking they're still going after, you know, the little girl. They mainly just want the little girl for some reason, huh? That's what I noticed. They just want, I guess it wants to build that body thing and stuff. But yeah, they're still going after the little girl, and the aunt's still protecting her, you know? And they're in a car, they're trying to escape, but then they get out because the guitar tech aunt, you know, fucking sees that fucking thing coming towards them, and they go to the side of the car, and then the other thing is on the other side, and they're over here, you know, trying to evade it. I think they try to run for the fence, but the fucking thing grabs the little girl, and it takes her back into the dark, into like that truck thing, and throws her in there and slams her. And oh yeah, it has that chainsaw shit now, you know, it's just like in the old school Evil Dead and shit. But I would have mentioned I haven't seen those in such a long time. I need to catch up on them again. But yeah, you see the chainsaw again, and then you see the blob thing about to cut the little girl's head off, and then the guitar tech aunt, like, she just shoots that shit, bomb, and that shit gets pissed. The little girl jumps out of the truck, and the thing throws the chainsaw at her. That shit was badass. That was a badass part when it throws the chainsaw at her, boom, and she falls down and shit. And fucking the blob, that thing is gonna try to kill the ant now too. So they turn on that fucking that wood chipper thing, and it's right there like about to kill her, but somehow, you know, they flip it over and throw the fucking monster thing in there that all the people that got killed became, and it starts chopping them up and eating them up, you know, and like fucking it's raining blood all over inside the parking structure and shit. And then fucking, I guess the head of the mom, before the chick kicks it into the wood chipper, she says something to her about like, oh, you always did look like mom or something like that. Or no, she calls her some kind of nickname or something, and she's like, only so and so can call me that, bam, you know. And it was a badass movie, and the little girl and her, they leave and take off and shit. They're the only survivors. Dude, that movie was so cool. I wish I could have seen it in theaters, but I only got to see it in streaming because I was more like into Scream 5 when that, I mean Scream 6 when that came out. But yeah, it was a fun movie. It's you could watch it over and over again. It's a really fun movie. I really like the gore, the special effects. It was so badass. Yeah, I really recommend it. I gave it like a 5 out of 10. You know, I really enjoyed watching it. What else? At the end of the film, yeah, we get like kind of like a weird cliffhanger ending. You know, like there's another chick that goes into the same parking structure. That's what I found weird, is that how long is it after what happened, you know? And it's a trip that the movie takes place in Los Angeles too, because the building that they're in does not really look like any kind of building that's here in LA. It looks more like Chicago style or New York or something. But yeah, there's this other girl that goes into the same parking structure, like I said, but I don't know like how long this takes place after the conclusion of the other story from the beginning. And from what it looks like, it's like maybe some little bit of time has passed, but there's still like maybe not that long though, because there's still like blood and shit everywhere fresh. And that thing, I think the girl gets a phone call or she hears something, and then that blob, I'm pretty sure it's that blob thing, you know. But if for another movie they could probably make it something else, but at the end of this movie I'm pretty sure it's that same monster that or part of it, or you know, or another one like it, another like possessed person, just like the mom in the beginning of the movie that comes after this other girl at the end, because it is kind of like a cliffhanger. It almost feels like, oh shit, there's gonna be another one, you know, because this girl gets attacked at the end, like whoa, like indicating, oh yeah, there's more like of these things out there. Like I said, it's a badass movie. Evil Dead Rise. Said I wish I would have seen it in theaters. But yeah, I really recommend it. Anyone, you know, check it out on streaming, buy it, whatever. But that movie is so cool, guys. Anyways, that's my review for today. I'll probably see you tomorrow in another video. Remember to please like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit the comments at the bottom, you know. And let's just keep this horror community growing, and I'll be back here next week with another movie review. We're gonna do these movie reviews like on a weekly basis now. So Hollywood Horror Film Club, catch you next time.